Do you want to play Android games on your TV? Or maybe you just want to play Android games with a controller? That is, without having to buy a controller. It gets strapped to your phone with some plastic contraption. It's all very confusing. Like these ones. If you answered yes, you are in luck. There are a number of different Android micro consoles that have been coming to market following the lukewarm release of the Ouya. The Ouya. Recent sales numbers are showing around 2,000 purchases each for two of the most popular titles, and significantly less than that for the few others that have released their numbers. If we consider that at least 46,000 people pre-ordered an Ouya from the Kickstarter and subtract the 8 of them that are on sale and Amazon Marketplace and the 71 of them on eBay and I don't know, 2,000 just doesn't seem like a lot. So the Ouya has been officially out in retail for about a month now. It uses the Tegra 3, which is a quad-core system with a chip with GPU cores and 1 gigabyte of RAM. The Ouya's pre-release to its backers, which started March 29th, had a rough start. There was some bad press and many complaints on a variety of issues, from the controller latency and the buttons getting stuck to the poorly designed app store with a meager selection of games compared to what you can get from the Google Play Store. Several months later, how is Ouya faring after its actual retail release? Well, they fixed the stuck buttons and gave their store a facelift. The faceplates on the controller, which cover the batteries, from the top, still have a tendency to fly off. Quotes. In general, I feel junky with a mushy D-pad and really awkward round triggers. The quality of the game fluctuates wildly, and most of the really good ones are not exclusives. Performance lags are reported in reviews, while visual quality often leaves much to be desired. So what else is there besides an Ouya? Well, how about a MADCATZ Project Mojo? You know those guys that make those wonky generic controllers for your favorite consoles? Well, they're still around. MADCATZ Project M.O.J.O is their Android console with its equally impressive controller, which is officially named C.T.R.L. to the Arth Power. Of course, it would not be complete without stylized red cat scratches in several places in the controller and the console. Mojo owners, Mojo will not be locked into the MADCATZ proprietary app store, which is unfortunate, because if they made one, they can name it S.T.O.R. to the ETH power. But at least users can download from the normal Google Play Store or Amazon or whatever. What this does suggest is that maybe they're not dedicating any resource to ensuring some developer will tune their games to run well on the Mojo, which could result in a bad experience. They're definitely trying to cross-promote their other unnecessarily acronymed accessories for use with the Mojo. Playing on an Android console with a keyboard and mouse sounds like it has potential, but there will need to be games to support that. It will be powered by the next generation, Tegra 4, but the rest of the specs and price are not out yet. They're currently targeting the Q4 release. So now we have BlackStack's Game Pop. So BlackStack has a Game Pop and a Game Pop Mini. $6.99 a month gets access to all Android games. The Mini is free if you sub for 12 months, which will end up costing you then at least $83.88. You can also pay $129 upfront for a presumably beefier console, but there's no specs out, so it's hard to determine if that's worthwhile. The Netflix-style pricing model is appealing if you plan on spending more than $7 a month on Android games. I know I don't. The Game Stick. The marketing and engagement for Game Pop, and even that from MADCATZ, seems pretty poor. Game Stick shows a little better though. I was expecting a big stick seeing it though. Like the Ouya, it was launched from Kickstarter, but the number of backers was an order of magnitude less, under 6,000. At $80, it undercuts Ouya, and it has a cooler form factor. It's the size of a thumbstick, but instead of USB, it plugs into your TV. Since it's so small, the controller itself has a little compartment where you can store the game stick. The lower price does mean that it is lower powered. The AM Logic 8726MX, only a dual core system on chip. But it does match the Ouya's 1 GB of RAM. It might be limited in the games you can play, but we'll have to wait and see how it pans out. The NVIDIA Shield looks like a bulky controller with the screen attached, but unlike your other Android consoles, you can take the Shield with you to places that are away from your TV, like public places where people can see you in your mighty fine looking fedora and cape. Or you can play with it plugged in, and if your PC has a GeForce GTX, you can play your PC games on it from the next room. One may call it toilet mode. Not that I would do that. Talk about growth. NVIDIA is clearly aiming for a higher end market. The Tegra 4 with 2 GB of RAM and a 5-inch display touchscreen brings that to bear. But it also adds to the cost. The $300 price tag puts it in a class of its own. Actually, it puts in with the Vita. When it came out, it was $300. Recently had a price drop. It will require some serious Android games to gain any traction outside of the niche market of gamers willing to pay a premium for a handheld. Maybe it could draw out people that have been disappointed with gaming on a tablet since your fingers get in the way. Or maybe you want to surf the web with something that has a gamepad attached. The Shield comes out next week. So, the Wall Street Journal has reported that a Google Android console is in development and that it might be a wristwatch or have a wristwatch. I don't know. The details are scarce at this stage. But I could see this as something good for integrating with Google Glass. You can play games on your face. Or with your face. Oh gosh. Hopefully it won't be canceled like the Nexus Q. What is yet to be seen is whether or not there's enough interest in these types of devices to sustain them, or if they will subsequently bring anything new or innovative to gaming. What do you think? Will you be getting any of these listed? I think the game still looks kind of neat, but I don't know if I would get one because I was like, baby, I want one for virtual gaming, but I already have a virtual console on my Wii. But maybe you could use it for non-Nintendo games. And oh yeah, the NVIDIA Shield looks like freaking ridiculous, but it's like you could play your PC games on it while you're away from your computer. So instead of sitting on your computer chair, you could sit on the couch, and then you could still get bed sores and clots in your legs and die.